Oh,
What's up? What's going on?
I'm really good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm kind of tired, but I'm doing great. Like
Yeah.
it feels like every day I just get more tired, which is
Mm-hmm.
terrible, but
Well,
you know,
relatable.
you know, we're getting
Yep.
older. It's like, bleh.
Every day's a new adventure with some new reason to be exhausted. Seems
Yeah,
like so.
it makes me really, really, really appreciate those like lazy after
Ugh.
school days where you just did your homework and then you were good to chill, good to
Oh
chill,
yeah.
watch TV and not worry about anything. Now it's like I get home from work and I'm like, ugh.
That's good though. You were responsible. You did your homework right away so that you had that time to yourself.
Are you saying you didn't do your homework, Amy?
Well, I had my moments when I didn't, but
Mm,
I think that as an adult looking back, I can appreciate those days when I did that because I think it set me up for success
yeah,
later in life. So
there you go.
good to do that.
Good to do that.
Anyone who's
Yes.
in school listening, get the
Stay in
homework out of
school.
the way as
Yeah,
soon
stay
as
in school,
possible.
kids.
I don't care what grade you're in. You can be a senior in college. You should still be
Absolutely.
following that rule.
Yeah, well, cause like for me, I went to a babysitter's house every day after school, up until I want to say like seventh grade,
Oh wow.
and so that was like
Hmm.
our thing. Like as soon as you got home, or as soon as you got to her house after school, and I lived close to her, and also my school was close to her, so it made sense. And so when she'd pick up like a lot of us. So we'd get there, we'd do our homework, or we'd have snack first and then we'd do our homework, and then we could like play games, do puzzles, watch
Nice.
TV. So that's just been like ingrained in me. It's like, okay, eat, work, then you can play.
Yeah. No,
Mhm.
that's really smart because like I'm actually seeing like a productivity coach right now. I met her through like one of the writing conferences I was in and like
Oh, dope.
she has this whole thing where she does she's starting this new thing. I know it's kind of off topic, but she calls
It's
it
okay.
the 42-minute hour. She
Okay.
does all these lots of different cycles of time
Mhm.
where you can like you're supposed to like work for 42 minutes and then you're supposed to do something fun for the remaining 18, and she does like 21 and 9 for like a half hour increment of time. So the
Mhm.
idea is that you like channel all of that energy into like that task that you want to complete. So in that case,
Oh.
it would be your homework. And then the remaining 18 minutes is for like you to like, just it doesn't even have to be like relaxing. It can just be like something else you need to do that isn't related to your homework or whatever, you know.
Okay. So you
And
said
then you set it up like, yeah, it's supposed to train your brain into like working in a more productive way instead of just like flying by the seat of your pants every day.
hmm.
I think it's working for me because I try to, it helps me get more things done, I think, with the short
Okay.
amount of time that I have.
I
But
like that.
yeah,
Because a lot of times it's because like a lot of times for me, like I'll do work, but it's like the amount of time that I spend on work, and then I'll switch and like goof on my phone a little bit. But like, yeah, I think that is really helpful. 42:18, you said?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
42. Okay.
And I'm just like,
Hmm.
I'm doing a lot of that right now, so it's like in my head all the time whenever I'm doing anything. I'm
Okay.
always like breaking it down into the increments, and it's good for me
Mm,
because it keeps me like accountable
mm-hmm.
to getting
Now,
things done.
do you start the 42 minutes on the hour?
Yeah, like ideally.
Okay.
And she said you can be really flexible with it too. You don't have to be so regimented if your brain isn't feeling it that day.
Mm-hmm.
But that is like how she structures it. like, yeah, you do the 42 minutes, you stop, you do 18 minutes, you
Okay.
do 42 minutes again. So,
Huh.
or like she said, you can do 21.9 if you
Yeah.
don't want to do a full hour, you want to do half hour.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
try it. No, you don't have to, but it sounds like your mind is very like structured that way, like you said, because of all the training you've had, you know. You want to call it that.
I want to say, like, I don't know if it's like good or bad, but like ever since then, because it's been a long time since I've been in school, but like I feel like I've gotten a little bit more lackadaisical when it comes to getting home from work. Like
Right.
if I applied like doing laundry or cleaning up, you know, after school, it's like, okay, eat, do an actual physical chore, then I can watch TV. That could help with like my whole feeling of just like, oh my gosh, the pile of clothes is piling up.
Yeah.
It just keeps going. It never stops.
Yeah. We all have that laundry chair. I have it.
I used to have a laundry chair. I don't have a laundry chair anymore. So now my laundry basket is just overwhelmed.
Oh, the basket. The evil basket. Yeah, the laundry chair is kind of like an island between, you know, the dryer and the closet, and they just hang out there until you're like, okay, let's do something with this hot mess.
So true. So true. All right. So
on that note, laundry and homework. Woo!
Should we get into our topic?
Sure. I would love to. So we were talking about doing sort of like a would you rather kind of thing, like ping ponging ideas off each other. And I really love the questions you came up with because it touches on some things that are meaningful to me. No, they're interesting, they're funny, and things I care about.
Yeah.
So I can appreciate that. And if I don't, I could probably just riff on it anyway, to be honest.
This is true.
So
absolutely.
For fun.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll ask you first.
Sure.
And then I'll give my rebuttal.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay. Sounds good.
All right. If you are ready.
I'm ready. I'm ready. Yeah.
First question is, would you rather go out with Barney from Barney the Dinosaur or Big Bird from Sesame Street? These are your questions.
I completely forgot about that. When you said Barney, I immediately thought about How I Met Your Mother. But
yeah.
I completely forgot about the purple dinosaur.
We're getting to that.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember now. Okay. All right. So you said, would I rather go on a date with Barney the Dinosaur or Big Bird from Sesame Street? Okay. So a little bit about me.
Okay, here we go.
When I was younger, I loved Barney. Like, I loved him. I had all of the things. Like, I had a stuffy, I had a blanket, I had the sheets, I had, I had the VHSs. I had so many things with Barney. Like, I feel like I drove my mom crazy when it came to Barney. And because I loved him so much, that's kind of what stemmed my love for the color purple, all of it. But I'm gonna have to say I would rather go on a date with Big Bird because because so Barney, yes, he's a dinosaur. He expresses his love. He loves the children. I feel like because I grew up with him, that's weird, right? Like he's
funny.
I mean, I grew up with Big Bird too, but not in the same way. Like
you're just the right age for Barney. I feel like
I wasn't.
You were into Barney right when Barney was like huge.
Yeah. And I remember I even watched. I had the VHS of the whole concert thing. I used to watch that constantly.
Oh man.
Oh my gosh, so much, right? But like with him, I was so connected to him, so I feel like I don't need to date him now. But like Big Bird, he is tall. He is
you know too much.
He's just so friendly. He's a yellow bird.
Right?
I wasn't super invested in Sesame Street. Like, I love the theme song. I liked watching the show, but I wasn't super invested. And I like he wasn't always on the screen. Like, Barney was always on the screen. You know what I mean? Like, with Sesame Street, we got to see different characters. We got to see Oscar the Grouch. We got to see the Cookie Monster. Like, I feel like I'd probably date the Cookie Monster because of our love of cookies, but he's not a part of the categories.
Not.
So
right, you didn't give him as an option.
No, so
he's a wild card.
Yeah. So yeah, Big Bird. I'm gonna have to say Big Bird. I just feel like he's the right type of bird for me.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah.
Did you may be too young for this potentially, but did you ever see the movie Follow That Bird?
No, what is that?
Okay. So for me, I kind of grew up with Big Bird.
Oh.
and there was a movie that came out, I swear to God, like the late 80s probably. This movie came out. And it was a weird sort of like comedian vehicle. Like, a lot of the actors that were in it were like comedians who were popular at the time. And like Big Bird. So it was like a weird Muppet movie, but for like Sesame Street.
Okay.
And so yeah, I probably watched that a bunch of times. But then Barney is hard too, because my sister was really into Barney, and I used to watch it with her because I was babysitting her. and then fun fact, she had one of those Barney toys that like talked, but it was like, I don't know if you had this, but it was like the Furby where it would like talk even when you weren't like anywhere near it.
No,
it would like be in her closet, and it would be like, oh, Barney the dinosaur. Just randomly like do,
no
like
way.
In the closet, like talking to itself. So that like slightly traumatized me.
That's so creepy. Oh my God.
But I don't know. You know what? It's tough. That's a tough one. You know, man. You know what? I'm gonna have to. I don't know. I'm gonna have to go with Barney, because
you were traumatized by him.
Because I think Big. Well, I know, and that's usually who I choose. No, just kidding. No, the thing is, I don't know. Big Bird feels like a brother to me, I guess.
Oh, okay.
You know, because we grew up when we were like a little kid. You know, so like the same way. I think.
I feel
I'll set up for Barney. Although if like Cookie Monster was in the mix, though, he would win out.
Right? Like, I should have put down Cookie Monster, but I wasn't thinking about it.
Just saying, dibs on Cookie Monster, dude.
No,
he seems like a man who's easy to please.
I know. What's the alternative? Oscar the Grouch? I mean, at least he has...
I was thinking that. I was thinking Oscar would just be like insufferable to be with. He would be
so insufferable, but he has like a huge place in that tin can. And
his apartment sucks.
It's like, you know, it's like he's the genie, but he can't grant any wishes.
It is.
His place sucks.
The trash can is kind of like a TARDIS. I don't know if you know, like the Doctor Who TARDIS.
Oh, cool.
Where like bigger on the inside, you know?
Yeah.
You know, you just imagine like what it's like down in the garbage can when it's not, you know, when his head's just not popped out of it or whatever.
Oh my God.
Maybe we should move on to the next one.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. So this is like totally in a different direction.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask you, can't wait to hear your answer.
Oh boy.
McDreamy or McSteamy?
Oh my gosh.
Come on.
It's crazy. When did I write this? A week ago? Oh my gosh. How did I not remember? Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Let's see. Okay. McDreamy, he's hubby material, right? Like, he's gotten married so many times. No, I'm kidding. He's gotten married at least twice. McSteamy, on the other hand, wanted to get married, but I don't know. Like, oh, geez. Okay. All right. Okay. What is it? Would have rather date them? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I would rather date McSteamy, and I'll tell you why. Because he's not like hubby material. Like I would just like it would be a nice fun date. I think that he would be because he was funny. I loved him on Grey's Anatomy. He was funny. The only thing I didn't really like was the fact that he was a man whore. Like he just slept with everybody.
Yeah.
So like I wouldn't sleep with him, but I would go on a date because, I feel like he would show me a good time. With McDreamy, I would want to get married. Like I would be like, we can't just date. This is not the end. Pick me, choose me, love me. That's all I gotta say.
Just a girl in front of you asking you to love me.
You know what I'm saying? Listen, that's from Notting Hill, right?
Oh my God.
Something's in my eye.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's Notting Hill.
But yes. No. What would you say?
See, that's so hard because I will just when I looked at McSteamy, I mean, how can you not? Because the first picture that came up was him with his shirt off.
Exactly.
I was like, that makes it a little difficult to decide. Because then McDreamy's face is always just like he just has that like goofy smile, like I'm husband material. Marry me. So you said date.
I would, yes.
So I'm gonna have to go with McSteamy too, because if we're just having fun, then I think he's the one to have fun with.
Right, let him take you out on the town. Let him wine and dine you, and then you'll be like, all right,
can be all steamy.
I'll see you at work tomorrow.
I can dreamy about the dreamy one later after I'm steamy with the steamy one.
Oh gosh,
I'll do it in that order.
Yeah.
All right. Next question. Another random aside. Would you rather show up to your date to either McSteamy or Big wearing something amazing? Wait. I think I messed that up.
It's okay.
Show up to your date wearing something amazing but arrive late.
Okay.
Or wear something awful and be early.
Okay, so I feel like that is such a hard question because it's like I want to be on time so that I can suss out the place and I can like just in case I see him and I'm like, oh no, I'd rather leave kind of thing. Or, just in general, like just being there on time, you could be able to relax a little bit. But if I have to be beautiful, I'm trying to dress to impress. So, that's such a toughie.
Of course.
Okay. Well, I feel like I would rather look really good and be late. And that way, like I can explain to him, like, see, beauty is not in a bottle. You know what I mean? Like it's a process. It's a process. Okay.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like if I could just do that one time, that first date maybe, and then, get better as the dates go on. I don't know. But I'm like, I don't think I would want to, I wouldn't want to look awful. But at the same time, like, would it be superficial of him to be like, oh, you look terrible, but you're on time. So I don't know. Oh my gosh.
That's kind of funny, actually.
Yeah.
He said that.
I know, right?
Awful, but thank you for being on time.
Imagine.
You gotta think, priorities.
Like I was just testing you, okay? I wanted to see if you liked me for me, not for what I look like. Okay, I feel like I could change my answer.
Right. Go ahead.
It's like, you can't be superficial, okay?
You changed it.
I'm on time.
Right.
And I just want to make sure that you like me for me and not for what I look like. You're right. I'm talking
like,
myself.
And who I am is punctual.
Exactly.
That's who I am. That's my personality.
What about you?
That's tough. It's funny because just like as a personal side, I feel like I asked my husband one time if he actually even remembers anything I wore when we were dating. Because you put thought into it, and then you're like, do they even remember or care? And then if I expected him to say no, like, because men are. And he was like, wait, I kind of remember. And I was like, no, you don't. But
Yeah.
it's funny because he did. And I was like, well, I guess it makes a difference, like what you wear,
Mm-hmm.
if it's memorable or whatever. But
It is. Yeah.
but like, oh man, that's tough because how late? Like, I don't know. That's part of it.
True.
Am I 4 hours? Am I a half hour late? Am I 15 minutes late? I don't know. Like, because I feel like if I look amazing and I'm 15 minutes late, there needs to be no conversation.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
if it's
that's
like,
true.
deal with it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But if I'm
Yeah.
like 4 hours late and it was just so I could like, get my eyebrows waxed or something, like I don't know.
That's
It
terrible.
take me 4 hours.
That's
don't
very
know.
true. I
Is that
like
even
that.
an answer?
I don't know. I mean,
Is it an answer?
I don't know. Like you could totally say that because I just flipped the script on myself, right? So like you could totally say that and be
Yeah.
like, well,
I'm
it's
gonna
only
say
15, 20
late,
minutes.
but not too late.
Yeah, that makes sense.
A reasonable amount of lateness, I think, is
Yeah.
okay if you look
And you
amazing.
look good. That's true. Okay. I like that.
All right. All right. Back to who we were dating.
Okay.
Would you rather go on a date with Jim Halpert from The Office or Ted Mosby from How I Met Your Mother?
Oh man. Did you watch The Office?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. All right, cool. That's a tough question. Okay. Pros and cons, right? Jim Halpert,
man.
he's a funny dude. Nice guy. Likes to play pranks on Dwight, but the way that he loved Gemma? Shoot.
Gemma.
What's her name? Pam.
I was like, Gemma is her real name, yes.
The way that he loved Pam was so amazing. Like he really loved her, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like the only time that they tried to like give us this whole there was like a rift between them at closer to the end after they were married and already had 2 kids when he was like, "Oh, I'm going to pursue my dream and do basketball, this and that or whatever, sports and blah blah blah." And I was like, what is the point of this? Like, we already know that they're endgame. Why are you causing a rip? This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So that kind of like made me not like the writing, but I still like Jim. So, but with Ted, oh,
right.
Poor little Tink Tink. Ted.
Teddy bear.
Ted, I feel like in a relationship, Ted is a really good partner. But
I know where you're going.
But his like I feel like I wouldn't satisfy him because he was so in love with Robin. Like it wouldn't matter if I dated him because we wouldn't end up together. He was so hung up on Robin. Ugh.
Yeah.
All right. To save time, I'll just say I would date Jim Halpert.
Okay. And that makes sense. Because you got me thinking too, like, if you really think about it though, both of them are hung up on one woman. Yeah. So could you get anywhere with Jim?
Oh,
I'm
true.
just saying.
I know.
You've already met Pam.
I know. Okay. I feel like, because like the only reason that they actually got together was because not the only reason, but one of the reasons that they got together was because he left Scranton to go to New York or something.
Right.
To the New York branch. And then that branch imploded and they had to merge the branches. So then he had to come back to Pam. But like in a real world, setting, I feel like with Ted, like his entire life was at the bar. So it's like if I went on a date with Ted and I didn't go back to that bar, it wouldn't matter because it's like, all right, I'm not going to see him again. But because Pam and Jim kept seeing each other and how awkward it was for what's her name's character. Now what's her name? Zetta Jones? No. I don't know.
Right, I forget you.
But like how weird it was for her to just be like, okay, I'm dating Jim. I had no idea about Pam. and like him and Pam clearly have a thing. I feel
Mm.
awkward. Everybody hates me because, like, not everybody, but like the entire viewing world was like, he's not gonna be with you. Pam's endgame, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So like even with okay, I might change my answer because even with even with Ted, like we
know.
got to see him
I
date
should've
so
just
many
given my
different
answer.
people. You should have. Like even with Ted, like we got to see him date so many different people. Like with Jim, we only got to see him date Amy Adams,
Mm-hmm.
the girl from New York, which I'm so mad I can't remember her name right now. And
Okay.
Pam. That was it. Like we didn't really see him date anybody else, as far as I remember. Like as soon as she was free from her would-be could-be marriage, he swooped in and was like, "You want to get a date?" And she's like, "Yeah, of course." So maybe I would go on a date with Ted, because at least going on a date with Ted, like yes, he's hung up on Robin, but he already knew that he couldn't be with her. So it was like, oh, let's go on one date. I don't know. What's your answer? Amy. Uh-oh. Where'd you go? Amy! Come back. Uh-oh. Oh, she's gone. Do I stop it? I could probably stop it, right? Before he met the mom and before he ended up with Robin. With Jim, it was Pam all the way. Even though I would love to go on a date with Jim, I just feel like he'd be too distracted and wouldn't really give me the time of day. The way that he treated Rashida Jones was just terrible, and she didn't deserve that. So
Right.
yeah.
Well, so yeah, to piggyback off that though, like it does make for some reason when I think about going on a date with Ted Mosby, I immediately think of Blah Blah for some reason.
Oh yeah.
Like she's the first, like of all of the horrible dates that he went on, it's the one that sticks out in my mind the most, because he doesn't even remember her name.
He didn't remember her name. You're right.
The way he talks about her is like she's just this like horribly narcissistic person who like only cares about her bags or whatever, and like immediately hones in on the fact that he's in love with Robin and like looking at her the whole time and like staring at it's oh my god. So I'm thinking like if I went on a date with Ted and it didn't work out, I would literally never have to see his ass again. Like just don't come near me.
You really wouldn't. That was a thing.
Yeah. But maybe Jim and I could be friends. Maybe. I don't know. I'm wondering. So I don't know. It's same thing. I'm kind of like maybe I don't know. Maybe it would be fun to just, go to the bar with Ted. That could be fun because that's probably where he would take me.
That's probably where he would take you.
He would probably take me to McLaren's, and I wouldn't mind going there. So I think that's going to be my deciding factor.
That's a good point. The only thing I would have to say with going to McLaren's is the potential of running into Barney and having
that too.
To watch him either try and get a girl's attention or get our attention. So that could be interesting.
And the whole conversation reminds me of like one of my favorite episodes of How I Met Your Mother, but I won't get into that now.
Why not? No, I'm kidding.
But no, like, maybe later.
Maybe later.
I love it. All right, next question.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh man, I didn't even read this far. Okay. Would you rather have a romantic evening with Fez from That 70s Show or Marshall Eriksen from How I Met Your Mother? That's too easy for me, but you go ahead.
No. I want you to go first this time. Go ahead.
A romantic evening with Fez? No. Why
not? What's wrong with Fez?
I don't know. He's not who springs to mind when I think of a romantic evening. I can go on a romantic evening with any of them, to be honest with you. None of them.
I would go on a romantic evening with Eric, I think. Yeah. Eric was sweet. I did really like Steven, but now that the actor is in jail for terrible things, I'm like, You ruined it, bro.
Yeah,
You ruined it.
he definitely spoiled a good thing because at that time he was probably the only one of them who like.
Yeah.
I don't know. We don't have to go down that road.
We don't have to go down that road.
You
You're
know what
right.
I mean.
I do.
But yeah, you
said no to Fez.
you would not. I feel like Marshall would show me a good time if he. I mean, even when he and Lily were broken up, like he was really nice to that other woman.
Oh yeah,
he dated
really
for 5 minutes.
Yeah. Literally,
he showed her a romantic evening.
He did
until Lily showed up and ruined it. So he has potential.
He does. He does. I agree.
That was too easy.
Yes, I felt like with Fez, it's like okay, Fez was so gross from season 1 to season 8, and then all of a sudden Jackie's like, "You're the perfect guy for me," and I'm like, "Are you serious?" I don't talk about season 8. I don't like it. I will not like it. I stop at season 7.
It's a weird season.
I stop with her being fought over by Michael and Steven, and that's where I live. That's where I live. That's where I stay. Okay. I wouldn't go on a romantic evening with Fez because he's so gross. He's so gross.
Yeah.
Like hiding in the shower when people are making out. The man is disgusting.
What is that?
I would never. I definitely go on a romantic.
Like the creepy exchange student.
I definitely go on a romantic date with Marshall Eriksen. Like he comes from a good family. He's just a good man. Like just a good man.
Yeah.
Is terrible. I don't even know why I wrote that question. Shame on me.
It's fine. It'd be two completely different dudes.
Yeah, I wanted to. I guess I wanted to like just spice it up a bit, but yeah, no, it's like an absolute no for Fez. Sorry, Fez lovers, but no.
Right. At least that wasn't too polarizing. This next one might be. I don't know how this is going to go down, depending on how you feel. Either way.
Okay.
Would you rather explore the town with Lorelai Gilmore from the Gilmore Girls, or I'm not even gonna say it right, Mindy Lahiri from the Mindy Project?
Ooh. Okay. I wrote that. I remember writing that question down and thinking to myself, I actually haven't seen the Gilmore Girls, but I've seen them. I've seen the Mindy Project, and just based on that, like I know that Lorelai's like what, she has her own coffee shop or something, like her own bakery. So I feel like she would be the best option in this scenario, only because she has a kid, and so she's lived some life, you know what I mean? So I feel like she'd probably take me out and I get to know her at the same time because I've never seen the show. But if you tell me that she was like absolutely terrible, I will be like, well, I don't know yet.
Well, I don't know. I mean, our audience might disagree with me, but I feel like of the two of them on the show, she was the less annoying one, in my opinion. And I find Mindy to be equally annoying.
Right.
I feel that's where I'm at.
I feel like Mindy Lahiri's annoying was like, I watched the show and I was just like, gosh, can she just stop for like 5 minutes?
Thank you. Minutes. I don't know. Some people love her, and I just like I can't even like listen to her talk for more than like 5 minutes. Even on The Office, like I didn't like her on The Office either.
Oh man, I forgot she was on The Office. Yeah, like she was so. What was his name? Not Kevin. Ryan crazy.
Yeah.
She was so Ryan crazy, but he did her wrong anyway. That's a whole nother story for another day. But like, yeah, Mindy having her own show and like the way that she was with who's that guy she ended up with? Oh,
you're killing me.
I know.
I can't remember anything today.
I know his face. I know he talks like an Italian. He's like Mindy Lahiri. Mindy.
Oh my god! Everyone's screaming right now.
Look it up.
Right?
Like, how dare you disrespect the show? I'm like, sorry.
Mindy and what?
What was his name? What's his name? I got it. Danny.
Danny. We got it at the same time. Of course, Danny.
I felt like
That's terrible.
he was a weirdo too, but I loved them together. He definitely calmed her down, and
Yeah, she needed
she
somebody to calm her down.
right, and she brought out the best in him in a good way. So they were great for each other. So I feel like Mindy might be able to take me out on a good time, but I lived in New York, so I don't need her to do that for me. I could do that for myself.
Oh, nice.
I grew up in New York City, so
Oh, that's cool. Yeah,
I
you
didn't
said
need her.
that.
So I would rather be with Lorelai because isn't she in like some suburbia?
She's just more chill.
She's not in New York,
Yeah,
right?
she's like, yeah, just the most laid back of I think anybody on the show, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
So
Even though she has her moments, I guess, where she like wigs out, but I don't know.
I did read that she also has like an interesting mom daughter dynamic with her own mother.
Yeah. Oh,
So
it's rough.
oh boy.
It's like, yeah, it's pretty good. It's not my favorite show. I gotta say, I know people who love Gilmore Girls, like love Gilmore Girls, and I've
Okay.
never felt that strongly about it.
Mm.
I watched it initially when it was on TV, but then I was just kind of like, eh, they annoy me.
Okay. What's next?
I'm not sorry. I know, and
That's
everyone's like,
fine.
you should love that show because you're a writer, and I'm like, it's okay.
I give you a pass. You're okay.
All right, thanks. Okay, this will be fun. Have
Yeah.
a dinner date. Would you rather have a dinner date with Leslie Knope from Parks and Rec or Liz Lemon from 30 Rock?
Ooh. Well, okay. Honestly, I couldn't actually get into 30 Rock.
Mm,
I like watch and I have a policy with my TV shows. Like I give them the first 3 episodes, and if you can't hook me by
yeah,
episode 3, then I'm kind of like iffy about it. Like I'll watch, maybe I'll watch, maybe I won't. I never really got into it, so
yeah.
I can't say for sure that I would go out with Liz, but I love Leslie. Like her energy is just so vibrant and like and it's interesting because I almost didn't watch Parks and Rec. Like it took more than 3 episodes for me to be like okay, but
Yeah.
like my
Same.
friend my roommate Jude, she's like after season 1 it's way better, and I was like okay. So
Mm,
I got to season 2 and I was like, oh my gosh, you're right. And I don't know if it was like the writing that changed or just the dynamics between the characters, but it really did change from like season 1 to 2. Like you wouldn't.
yeah, you're right. It did.
So I definitely would love to have a dinner date with Leslie Knope. I feel like she gives energy, she pipes up her friends, like she's so hype on Ann Perkins. Like I would love to be her Ann Perkins, who is also
Aw,
Rashida Jones.
right. Leslie Knope is dope. I started thinking in my head, like, all right, but like yeah, if that's your answer, is that your final answer?
That's my final answer.
TikTok. Okay. It's hard because
you gotta add the a millionaire.
yeah, I don't forget do. How does it go? Do you want to phone a friend? Hello.
I know, right? What
It's your
did I say?
50-50.
No. Go ahead.
Okay, so I feel like all the things you said are true for me. And I did like 30 Rock, but Liz Lemon as a character, as a person, seems like she would just be not fun. And like that's kind of her thing. It's like she's like a lonely workaholic who like has no social skills. So I don't know. Like maybe we could hit off, but like Leslie seems like she would be more fun, like you said.
Okay. Yeah.
If it was like Amy Poehler or Tina Fey, like that would be a different story.
That'd be a
But
different story. Yeah.
the characters,
Yeah.
It's funny they only had their own TV show because they were like a duo for a long time before that.
I know.
And so it's just funny they like split off and then became like different types of people on their own show. So I don't know. But like Liz Lemon is like kind of supposed to be based on who Tina Fey is in real life.
Ooh.
And like Alec Baldwin was supposed to be like Lorne Michaels.
Oh, Alec Baldwin. He's got so much heat on him right now.
Right? Yeah, it's so weird just like even to say his name. I'm like, ooh, Alec Baldwin. I know every time we keep bringing people up who are like mired in scandal. Now it's like you can't get away from it.
Can't we live in peace?
I know. But he was based on Lorne Michaels, I guess.
Oh.
And Tracy Morgan was you know, who his character, he's based on himself.
Yeah.
So like it's interesting because that's probably what she's really like in real life. I was just throwing that out there. But I feel like Amy Poehler is probably acting like hard, like really acting when she does.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Just throwing that out there.
Another
random.
Oh boy.
Okay. Would you rather spend the day with Daenerys Targaryen from Game of Thrones or Olivia Benson from Law and Order SVU? Wow, there's like two totally different people.
They are totally different. Okay.
Spend the day. The whole 24 hours?
No. Like from 8 to 8 probably,
okay,
right?
Like working with them or like taking a day trip?
I think it's maybe a day trip. I don't know.
Okay.
Spending the day.
It depends. Like the atmosphere, the environment does factor in, you know.
I know, yeah. Oh man. Okay. Well, it really does depend because like with Daenerys Targaryen, you know, Mother of Dragons, Queen Khaleesi, dog, what the heck? Can you hear him?
No.
Okay, good. You can edit that out.
It's dog.
He's like in his great scratching. Oh my gosh. Anyway, yeah, with Daenerys Targaryen, Mother of Dragons, Queen Khaleesi, right? Like,
yeah,
she is the ultimate Game of Thrones character. She was able to ride dragons. She was able to control dragons. She was able to create her own destiny, even though her brother tried to sell her and marry her off. She came out on top.
Yep.
However, I feel like no one really can survive a day in Game of Thrones. Like, people just die. Like, people just die. And
that's
Amy,
a really good point.
I am not the type of person
that's a really
that would want to fight for nobody. Like,
yeah,
I don't know you like that. You know what I mean? But I don't know. Like, she was really cool though. Like, she was able to fly on dragons. Like, I thought that was the coolest thing in the show.
Oh yeah.
When it comes to who's the other person?
Olivia Benson.
SVU. Listen, okay, real quick, y'all. When I said I used to binge SVU to the point where it kept me in the house, I used to binge SVU. I was like, oh yeah, this is fine. Me and my brother, we watched marathons of this show. Marathons, because it's on forever. He still watches the show. I don't watch it anymore. But, oh my word, when I say I didn't want to leave the house because like everything scared the crap out of me. I was like, this is ridiculous.
Aww.
But then I thought to myself, I'm like, well, the statistics of me being in any of these situations are really, really low. But not, you know, not out. It was like the risk is like maybe 99%, but or like, you know, less than 99%, but there's still that 1%.
Yeah.
So I feel like I wouldn't mind spending the day with Olivia Benson only because like she's a badass. She like, you know, gets her man most of the time. The way she delivers her like one-liners, oh, I would love to see that in person. So as much as I'd love to ride a dragon, I'd probably like be crapping my pants if I ever got on one. So I probably would go with Olivia only because like I know the streets of New York, so I would be like, this is nice. Dope. Like, let me just see it from her point of view, kind of thing. See how she solves her cases in person. But yeah, Khaleesi, Daenerys, she was just racking up people. Like she came in with a full army. I'm like, this is a lot of people to be walking around with.
those are some solid points. You got me thinking. The wheels
There
are
you go.
turning.
You got it.
Because when you initially said that if you're in the Game of Thrones world with Khaleesi, you're probably not going to live to see the end of the day. If you can get near her, I mean, wouldn't her dragons like attack you for like trying to come close to her? She'd have to convince them to not kill you, and then if you're lucky enough to survive riding on one of them, you know.
Right.
So in that scenario, I think I would do it. I think I would ride a dragon. I'm not gonna lie. I like SVU, and I think Mariska Hargitay is cool, but
yeah.
I don't know. I can't turn down. I don't know. I would have. I feel like I would feel silly turning that down that opportunity. If I could live through to see myself on a dragon and survive it, if someone told me guaranteed you're gonna live through this, I'd be like, okay, let's do it.
I appreciate that because it's true. It's like if you could live in Game of Thrones and make it happen, I feel like, as much as like major characters would die, like little characters would die too, and you just be like, well, dang, didn't that person have a family?
No one cares about her. She's fine. We'll just write her out of the show after one episode. That was easy. Okay, this one's going to be kind of tough for me. I'm not going to lie.
Okay, what is it?
Go on a road trip with Schmidt from New Girl or Damon Salvatore from the Vampire Diaries. I got to hear your answer.
Okay, let's see. If I could have a douche jar in the car.
What?
One of the jars where he says something douchey or something stupid. Douchebag jar.
He puts $1 in or something?
Yeah, he puts $1, he puts $50, he puts however many. I feel like that would be ideal because that way we'll say, like, for me and Schmidt, we'd be like, all right, cool. If you say anything stupid, we're putting money in the jar, and we'll use this money for whatever we need, like if it's something important or something fun, but we'll have this money. And yes, in a way, he'd in fact be paying for everything, but it might get him to thinking to like not say stupid stuff. So I don't know. I like Schmidt. He was so funny when he said he put what $20 in the jar. He's like, I'm gonna marry you one day, girl. I'm gonna marry you, girl. And then they got married, and I was like, yay!
Oh my god,
Damon Salvatore. Oh, he's something else. But he's a vampire, so like, and I'm a human, and I'm not Elena, so he wouldn't think twice about killing me. He wouldn't think twice about it. So it's like, as much as I would love to drive with Damon Salvatore, I don't really want to die or become a vampire. So,
well, and I guess that's what would happen. That's why I was like, well, what would even happen in that scenario? Like, I have no idea.
I mean, so he doesn't always kill everybody, but like he's so quick to kill somebody. So it's like, it's like, how would I make myself valuable to Damon Salvatore to like make sure that he doesn't kill me or turn me into a vampire? Like, what can I do to stay alive? I'm not magical, so I'm just a human being. So it's like there's no use for me in the car with him. I would like it, but I'd also be like, please don't kill me. So I feel like I'd go with
I gotta say, like, the vampire thing really threw me. Like, I guess, I mean, going on a road trip with Schmidt, like, would just feel like a regular day, but that's tough. Yeah. I guess if you want to stay alive, choose Schmidt.
If you want to stay alive,
just stay alive. Don't become a vampire. All right, I think the next one should be the last one, just because it'll we can pivot into like our How I Met Your Mother debates after this one. But
go for it.
All right. Would you rather attend a fancy event with Harvey Specter from Suits or Barney Stinson from How I Met Your Mother? Right.
Attend a fancy event.
Yes.
I love Harvey Specter. I do. He is so handsome, and he's a lawyer, and he's like, a badass in the court. Ah, I feel like I'd be like super duper arm candy if I was with Harvey Specter.
Mm.
Like, ooh, we would just look so good together. However,
Right.
Barney Stinson, I don't know. Barney Stinson. Him in the playbook, him and his tricks. Like, I probably, like, legit, I feel like I really wouldn't get to know him because all he does is like scheme his way into a girl's pants. So like,
Right.
I wouldn't get the opportunity to really get to know him because we're not friends.
Yeah.
I feel like with Harvey, I could walk in with him and we'll be ooh, ooh, ah, 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 ooh, ooh. All of the oohs and
All
the
the oohs and
ahs.
ahs. Yeah.
But with Barney, I feel like I'd be worried about being taken advantage of or something, because we wouldn't actually go out on this fancy event. He'd like probably trick me, and he's like, "Oh, actually, the fancy event is in his apartment." What an asshole!
Yeah. That's funny, because you were making me think I should ask you, like, how you think Barney Stinson would trick you into dating.
Listen,
what would be the play that he could
I
use
don't
on
know.
you?
Like, that's right, because like he did so many different plays out of the playbook. Wait, before we go into that, who would you pick?
But between the two, I'd have to go with Barney. Sorry. Like,
wow.
I don't know, because I don't know why. I don't know. Maybe I just have like an unhealthy attachment to How I Met Your Mother. But like I've picked every single one so far, so I had to keep up precedent.
That's true. You did pick
All
Ted
three
and
of them.
Marshall.
I did.
I mean, because you like toxicity, girl. You like you're like, yeah, I want to fix her upper.
Oh, you're funny. No, I don't know. I guess I didn't watch a lot of Suits. I don't know Harvey that well. I did Google him. He does look like he's definitely not bad looking. But
yes, girl, yes.
But I feel like I don't know. I feel like I know Barney on like a certain level, and like he usually like I don't know. There was one episode, didn't he go to like the Victoria's Secret catalog event or something? Like I feel like he knows like all the hot spots in town and like all the cool events would be. And then I could just like have my fun and get out of there. I don't know. Maybe. I could like make up some excuse to be like, oh well, I got an early meeting tomorrow or something, and like
I just like when it comes to Barney, it's like that makes sense, but like I also don't like want to be another number on his notch, because like remember that episode where he did the whole like trying to figure out who's like coming for him or whatever. Like he was trying to go through all the different women in his life that he's wronged and all this stuff.
Yes, the bracket.
Yeah, and so only to find out that it was actually Lily that was sabotaging him the whole time.
Yes.
But it just like for me, it's like, oh my word. Like, don't get me wrong, Harvey, he definitely dated around and whatever, but like he had certain standards. Like he wasn't just going after every piece of, that he saw. Barney was ruthless.
It was excessive.
He just kept going, and like
it was excessive.
Challenge accepted this and challenge accepted that. I was like, what? Oh gosh. I like Barney, and I feel like because I've watched the show several times, watching the show several times, really, it just like it makes you think of how sleazy he is. And then then him and Robin, I'm like, okay, I liked it. I liked him and Robin, because I was like, okay, great, he's finally going to calm the cuss down. But no, they don't even stay married for very long. They piss me off with the 9th season, and then what does he do after they get divorced? He continues his BS, but now he's a dad, so he continues his BS and he's a dad.
Oh man, Like, yeah, the BS just never ended. And I think that was just the whole point of that character.
I know, he just,
You're supposed to, not trust
yeah.
anything he says. But
Mm-hmm.
that episode, the thing I think one of the worst things that Barney ever did, which is hilarious because like I believe that this episode is like based on his like opinion, is the platinum rule.
Oh,
And where he wants to hook up with the waitress.
yeah.
And what I was thinking about was when they were all at McLaren's and they were like, don't kill the bar, dude. Don't kill the bar. Because they knew that if he dated the waitress, that he would mess things up for them and then they wouldn't be able to go back to McLaren's ever again.
Mm-hmm.
And that was what you were saying. Like, I wouldn't be able to ever go back to McLaren's because I dated Ted. But imagine dating Barney and then having to go back to McLaren's. But I love that episode because they all like, I don't know if you remember, they all like have like a different scenario where they do something that the others are telling them not to do. Like Lily and Marshall become friends with their neighbors and it doesn't work out. And Robin dates her coworker and doesn't work out. And they're all like, yeah, well, I think it'll be okay. And they all say that. I just love that, the build up like every time. And that's when they're trying to talk Ted out of dating Stella, which is a huge mistake. Yeah. But he's just like, yeah, well, I think it'll be okay. I love that episode. But yeah, that's definitely like Barney at his like absolute worst of like, he's just doing what he wants to do and he doesn't care how it's going to affect other people.
Oh my gosh.
And so like one night out with him be all I could probably tolerate. But
listen, okay. but yeah, like that, I remember that episode. I remember watching it and like everything from Ted being told not to date Stella and then like up until he got like brutally abandoned at the altar. Yeah. Like I thought that was so brutal because like literally every episode leading up to that point was all the signs. Like I remember rewatching it and I'm like, oh, like I felt like, Leonardo DiCaprio's character, like, oh, look, this is it. Like this is the moment, and like, oh my goodness, I felt so bad for Ted, like I did, but it was like all the signs were there, bro.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, do you think we're getting married too fast? Oh, should we invite our ex to the wedding? He's worried about himself being selfish. He's like, oh, Robin, no, I'm completely over her. It's no big deal.
No. If you're over here, you don't need her to be there. And then she wanted him to move to New Jersey. Come on now.
Yuck.
Who does that? Yuck.
Sorry, Jersey, but not sorry.
Right? You're from New York. I'm from Pennsylvania.
You know what I mean?
We hate New Jersey.
Right? It's the whole state in between us, girl. Like, it's ridiculous.
That's why we hate it.
That's why we hate it. No.
So yeah, no, I mean, they all have their like interesting things. Obviously, like you can go on and on about Barney forever.
I could.
The idea of dating him is, I mean, we talked about, I mean, why that's not a great idea. It's kind of like dating McSteamy. It's like, should you date a man whore? Probably not.
But if it's just tempting, one date,
is it tempting? Do you feel like you could probably change him like Robin did?
Well, actually,
what's that about?
I don't know. I don't ever feel like I don't ever feel like Robin tried to change him. I don't think she tried to change any guy that she dated, really, because she was so focused on her career that like having a guy in her orbit just felt like, oh yeah, sure, I'll date this guy or whatever because it's nice to be in a relationship. But I don't feel like she tried to change any guy. Like even when she was dating Barney before they broke, like they were dating and then they broke up. And then, they had that one little tryst and then it was like, okay, no. And then he spent all that time trying to pursue her again. Like, because she didn't try and change Ted. Ted didn't change, like, because she was changing him. Ted changed because he loved her. So it was like, it didn't matter what she did or whatever, So I don't know. I don't want to put all that on Robin because I'm like, we can't change anybody. And even though it's like what Barney said at the end of the season. At the end of the series, he was like, "We had a good relationship that just happened to end," and that's what I'm like. Yeah, I get it. Like, not everything is all wrapped up in a nice bow, which is fine. I just didn't enjoy the fact that it took the entire season.
Well, they broke up once before.
Yeah.
And that was, I mean, that episode is insane. Like, because, he wears like the fat suit.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I don't know what he said. He's like, relationships, I love them or something. And he's like, oh man, no, it's, he starts getting relationship gut or something. That's what they call it, I think. And he's like, I do not got relationship gut. I'm sorry. I just like vividly remember like all the weird stuff that he said on the show, but like they make him like fat because he was in a relationship with Robin. Like that's a bit much. Like you automatically.
I know, and they made her look terrible.
Like like gray haired and like
old.
Like like a witch.
Like is he draining her? Like it's
right. Are they hurting each other?
That's the thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, that was one of the biggest things for me when I was like, oh, they're actually going to get married, because like we saw their relationship, we saw how it was. So it's like, for me, I was like, oh, how are they going to be different now? Like it's only been a few years since that relationship, and the one where he's like, you know what, I love Robin, like I love her so much that I'm gonna change my ways and get married. But like, come on, like we all saw that it didn't work. So it's like, why did we all think that it was gonna work?
Right. Go round and round in circles. Because they worked really hard, I think, to convince people. And it was all an effort to just be a red herring, I think. To just keep people away from what they thought the ending was going to be.
Yeah.
And like at that time, a lot of people were trying to predict the ending.
This is true, you're right.
And I think that like they initially said that Victoria was going to be the mother if they ended up being canceled.
Yeah, I did remember.
They had that all planned out.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like they kind of did that character dirty too. Like they brought her back, and she was like, "What is this?" Like, he makes her leave her fiance at the altar, and then they don't even end up together. Like,
all because he was still hung up on Robin, and she was like, "We cannot move forward because you will not let her go." And he's like,
still
"She's
did
my friend."
I know.
And I'm like, dude, what? and then the only reason why he quote unquote let her go was because his quote unquote best friend was marrying her. And I'm like, this is what makes you let her go? Your best friend marrying her, but not even?
Like, it feels like Barney was almost trying to do Ted a solid by marrying Robin so that she wouldn't be with him, or he wouldn't try to be with her anymore. Like, that's the only reason he married her, was just to get him to stop chasing her. Like, doesn't it almost seem like that?
Actually, now that you mention it, that would make him the ultimate bro, right?
Exactly. Because he's like, I gotta end this, and then he couldn't even keep it up, though. That's the thing.
No, true. He was like,
going.
He's like, I'm not a one-woman person. She doesn't even want to settle down. She just wants to work here and there and drag me along with her. Ugh.
Right. And she had all kinds of. Robin was not marriage material, anyway, in my opinion.
I don't think so. No, I feel like she just like, honestly, yeah. And I think that has a lot to do. One of the things I do love about the show was all of the backstory. Like we learned about Marshall's family, we learned about Lily's family, Robin's family, of course, Barney's messed up family, and like the thing that got me was like, okay, Robin grew up with just her dad. Her dad treated her like a boy for so long, and still did even when she was older. I feel like her mom was at the wedding or something, but like we never got to see the relationship between the two because she was so hung up on her dad. Right. So like for me, because of that like trauma of being treated like a boy, not getting your father's approval, in general, and just like her always seeking that validation.
Yeah.
it never worked out in her relationships because she was constantly trying to be the better man in these relationships. And like
Mhm.
that's crazy to think about, but like when you look back at the show and just see all of the different things she's been in, like she was a Canadian pop star. She was obsessed with
Yep.
PS, that old man. Like, why? Like, why was all these different things? Like, Ted said that he
Yeah.
loved her on the very first date, and she's like, what? Like, that's crazy. Like, 'cause she's never heard
Right.
I love you from a man. Like, just
Yeah, yeah. And
ugh.
she totally turns around and she's like, "No, you're the crazy one.
Yeah,
I'm not crazy
exactly.
at all."
So that's
It's
why
not weird that I, like, hang out with a bunch of people I just met at a bar last night and now they're all my best friends.
all my best friends, you know what I mean? So like,
Yeah.
yeah, like it's the fact that she kept bouncing between Ted and Barney and then also like having other relationships, it just like it further solidifies in my brain that she was just not like committal material. Like she was all about trying to be the better one of the two and like get her own career off the ground. And so yeah, it makes sense now that you say that Barney would take Ted off her hands because as soon as he did, I mean Barney would take Robin off Ted's
Right,
hands
right.
because as soon as as soon as they got married, who did Ted meet? The mom.
Mother. Yep.
And it
At the
just like
wedding.
it made sense because once he finally met her, um and like realize that this is the girl he's been looking for forever for the entire series, um it's like okay, great. And then he was able to be with her, have his kids, have the life that he wanted until she unfortunately was killed off.
Right. Because they did
And then
her
it
dirty
was
too.
they sure did. and like the ending where okay, it's like yeah, he's telling his kids a story because I think we talked about it a little bit. It was like Ted and Robin had like a deleted scene where they got
Yeah.
together and everything, and they didn't show us that in the series at all. But it kind of like gave him pause because he's like, I'm happy right now. I'm with my kids, but I do like miss having a companion. And when Robin gave him
Hmm.
that little window of an
Right.
opportunity for an open door to say, hey, you
Yep.
remember that like bet we made or that like pact we made when we were this age or whatever, or if we're like 40 and don't and aren't married, then
Yep.
let's do it. So yeah, it just for me, everything that we're talking about, like now it just makes sense. Barney being the best bro, even though he's a weirdo, like in terms he's like mean to girls. Barney's the best bro for like getting
Yeah.
Robin away from Ted and saying, Ted, there she is not your wife. Go and find your wife. And
Yeah.
then Ted finally getting married and having the life that he wanted, even though she passed away, and then circling back and saying, okay, well, you gave me the window. You're around. You love my kids. I love you. You love me. Let's do it.
Yeah. Right. But it's like, what does that say about like, are you like settling, at that
Mm,
point? I mean, I think I said that a little bit too, was as a
you
Robin
did.
is like settling for him because it didn't work out with Barney and she's old and she lives alone with her dogs and
I feel that. I do. I feel like because she's at a place where she's done a lot in her career already. Barney has moved on and he like moved on.
yeah.
So it's like she understands that Ted was always there for her. Regardless of everything
Hmm.
that they've been through, Ted
Yeah.
literally was always there for that girl. Like he did so many different things for her. And I think we laughed about the whole floating balloon Robin
Oh
thing. And
yeah,
he's
the
like,
balloon. That's
I
the
let
worst.
her go in the beach. And I'm like,
The
this is
the
stupid.
balloon metaphor was the worst. Yeah. Awful.
It's like, what? But at the end of the day, yeah, he did so much for her and he just needed to be separated and like cut the cord. He needed to
Yeah.
cut the cord. And that's the only way that he was going to find his wife because he literally was not going to find her any other way.
In a sense, like it's hard when you have like such strong feelings for something and you don't want to let it go and you feel like there's somehow a chance in the future. It's just, not in front of you.
Yeah,
But like it kept him kind of stuck,
it
like
did.
as a young guy. Like he wasn't able to like grow up.
Literally. Yeah.
And because like being in love with Robin, like, yeah, kept him in that like mindset of like always being the guy he was when they met. And
Mhm.
like that can't be healthy, right? Just saying.
No.
No.
It
There's so
wasn't.
many things wrong with it.
Like,
and that's
look
why
how
everyone hated
great
the
he was.
ending. And that's why, I mean, I cried when they got together. Like, I don't know why. It was just like this weird, overwhelming, like drawn out thing. I don't even know what it was like just shock maybe. Like,
Yeah.
are you serious? But like it was a very emotional, long, drawn out thing. One of the things I wanted to say really quickly that I remembered when we were talking about it was they had this episode where they were like, they had the guy from, I don't remember if you watched Lost. They had the guy, the one guy from Lost in the episode. What was the episode? It was like a Thanksgiving episode, and they kept saying like, the Blitz, the guy who was always like, oh man, because he always like missed stuff because he
yeah.
Okay, so like that guy was on the show Lost, and Lost was on around the same time.
Yeah.
And people were like trying to predict what was going to happen on Lost, even though Lost was like a fever dream that no one could really understand. And they were like, I feel like the writers were like, let's make How I Met Your Mother like Lost, where no one knows what's going to happen, and we're just going to do all this crazy stuff that no one can predict, and we'll just keep throwing the audience for a loop every episode, and we'll have all these weird non sequiturs and just drag it out forever. And ever, with no real resolution, because I feel like they were doing that, especially in season 9. Like I don't know how much it had to do with the fact that Jason Segel didn't want to do the show anymore, but it was ridiculous. Like ridiculous.
Yeah.
What the stuff that they were doing. Like every episode was like 5 minutes out of the day.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. I agree. Or like an hour out of the day up until the wedding. It was so stupid.
It felt like 5 minutes every episode. It was like
did. Also, that like ridiculously unethical Asian fusion episode. I was like, what are they doing? Why are they doing this?
Oh man.
So bad.
They did so many crazy things.
But
they bring in the guy from Karate Kid, like everything.
That was funny. I love that episode. Actually,
that was good.
Barney's worst. He's like, this is the worst bachelor party ever, and it was like actually the best thing because he's like, you got Ralph Macchio.
I know, and he hates Ralph Macchio.
He was so sick. He's like, he is not the Karate Kid.
Dude's so deluded.
It was funny.
Deluded.
I mean, it was funny. I feel like that episode where like everything went completely wrong for Barney, but actually went completely right because it was like the best prank because he's big on like having a good time and whatever, and how he was like, oh, this is gonna be legendary. Like that episode kind of foreshadowed how the ending was gonna go. It was like, you were gonna be thrown all of these different things only to have a curveball of the real Karate Kid showing up, meaning like Ted and Robin are actually going to be together, and you're just like, so I remember the first time I watched it, the whole thing, and I was watching it on TV like every week. I was waiting for every season to come out, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
And like when I was watching the episode, I'm like, okay, this is the final episode. What's going to happen? I was like, okay, they got married. He met the mom. This is great. And then we're seeing the montage of him and her and all that stuff, and he's reading her a book, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. You better not. Like, I remember yelling at my TV. I was like, you better not kill this woman. You better not. And then they did, and I was sitting there and just like, they did not do that. Why did they do that? And then I was like, and then you get
the rug out from under you.
You get hit with the Robin and Ted and Robin and Barney breaking up, and I'm like, what the heck is happening?
Yeah, that was wild.
I was so mad. I was so
and they
mad.
Just do it like, oh, we're getting a divorce. Sorry, guys. Like that's how they draft the bomb. Like
literally, they were like,
we gave it 2 whole years.
we gave it the good try,
Right.
And then, and then he got the blue horn, and his kids were super young, and I was like, so that means they knew the whole time?
Yeah.
But after that, I must say, like, once I started rewatching it, and I watched a few more times, and I just picking up, like I was saying earlier, it's like picking up on all of the little things that like made the show great, like, and just going back to it, just like, oh, wow, like I didn't see that before, I didn't see that before and all that stuff. And then I'm like, okay. And I know if whoever's a How I Met Your Mother fan out there that like really loves Barney and Robin, like I get it. I love them too. But if you watch the show over and over and over, you can understand why Ted and Robin were it just made sense. Like,
right.
It makes sense because who spends that long telling a story to their kids and focusing on one person? Like who does that? You can't, it's like what they
crazy.
said. It's like you mom is barely in the story. Like you didn't really talk about her.
Isn't that awful though?
Yes.
It's just a little bit. We know why, because it took 9 years for them to find her in the first place. But,
exactly.
And she was great, the actress, Christina Milioti.
I love her.
Yeah, she's the best.
I love her.
And she was a good choice because I feel like people were like, she needs to be cute like Lily, but like interesting like Robin
and something. She was like, I remember seeing her in the train station, like in that last episode of season 8, and I was like, oh my gosh, she's like perfect. She looks like Lily. She looks like she has a vibe like Robin. This is great. Like I was like, they finally did it. This is so awesome.
I know.
And then they spent
Robin.
They spent half the series not even letting them see each other. Like they literally met at the end. Like, like she met everybody else before she met Ted. Like what?
I feel like also part of it was like the creators tried to like base it on their own lives. And I think the one guy was like, oh, wouldn't it be funny if one day I had to tell my kids how I met their mother and I had to tell them about the 6,000 women I dated before I met her? Like, I feel like that was like the original premise of the show, because apparently the dude was like a huge man whore because he kept like having to go through all these women to like find the Mrs. Right or whatever.
I know, right? We should do a rewatch and find out how many women Ted actually dates.
Oh man, yeah, there's so many, and like
the mom.
he treats them so wrong. He's mean to all. There's some of them are mean to him, but like I think he's mean to most of them. So
he is, and definitely mean to Victoria. That was when I was like, okay, I don't really trust this guy, only because like he spent all that time getting to know Victoria, and like then she left, and then she came back, and then he was like, but it's Robin. I'm like, yeah, but you have a really great girl. Give her the time of day. Like, what the heck? Just because she's in Germany? That's not right, So, anyhow.
We covered all the bases of How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah. All right.
Well. Sorry, I'm like, how do we end this?
I don't know. We end it like this.
Naturally.
No, I'm kidding.
In a way no one expects that'll make them angry.
I know,
like
right?
How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah, we're just gonna be like, bye.
Yeah. The end.
No. Yeah. Well, why not? I don't care. Like, bye.
All right, bye.
No. Okay. Let's say, we'll say, all right. Well, that was the episode. I enjoyed the Would You Rathers. Those were really hard.
Yeah, they were, but it was fun.
Those were fun. Don't know what we're gonna talk about next, but that's for you to find out and for us to give. I don't know.
We'll find out in exactly a week.
All right. Thanks for listening, y'all.